Hello, you're the first person on, so welcome to the stream. As usual, I'm going to be streaming about 1 hour, I'd say. Probably. So I think the notification was just about a minute slow coming out today. Because I've been streaming for about a minute, but all the comments obviously just started now. So hopefully you'll get quite a few people coming into the stream and everything. What filter came today? Cool, is that a particulate filter or like the one that does vapor as well? Hello? Alright, Rich. Yeah, I'm doing a stream today, because normally I do streams Monday and Thursdays, but with our amateur dramatics group now, they've changed the date. We do the rehearsals to Monday evening from Tuesday evening. So I'm going to have to do them Tuesday and Thursdays now, because I can't obviously do a stream on Monday evening when I'm out, so... I've had quite a busy day today. Didn't sleep much last night, was up at 6 AM. Drove about 200 odd miles today in the car. So, yeah. It's gonna, see if I can stay awake. I don't feel too tired, at least at the moment. But I'm hoping when I go to bed tonight, I can at least fall asleep fairly quickly. That's good. It's always good to have a particle filter. When I got that Scott particle filter, I think that was only £6. Okay, so it's not just a particle filter then, it's like an ABEC filter. I'm not sure, to be honest, because like I said, the 3M kind of copy I've got, if that's what you mean rather than M3, the 3M copy, a lot of it doesn't work very well. Like, the actual mask itself seems to work fine, but the accessories with it were really crap. Yeah, it's good, isn't it, Peach, in terms of, yeah, even if you don't add a lot of peanut butter or whatever, you get quite a lot of the taste to it. So I quite like those because they're, obviously very good for nutrition as well, in terms of, like, protein and fat in there. I'm not sure what you mean by the holder and all the plastic strap. No, the filter does not last forever. You'll have to change it when it's fully either saturated or, you know, it's run out of date. You know how it says don't bring up politics in the stream and then you bring up Venezuela? That's alright, Mike. Yep, I've had a good day today, but I'm sure I'll feel quite tired in a bit, because obviously I was up at 6 AM, as I was saying to some of the other people, and drove 220 odd miles today. That's cool. Is that the ones that are like the plastic printed ones? Because you get some that are like kind of almost like laminated kind of things, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it depends, because if you put loads of oats in, it kind of ends up being more crumbly, doesn't it? If you do less oats, it's more of an actual flapjack. But it depends how you want to do it. There's not really a right or wrong way of doing it. It depends how you want it. But if you put loads of oats in, it's really dense, so obviously for a smaller size portion you get more calories in it. Depends how you mean a better mask than a GP5, depends what you want in a mask. The GP5M is also cheap, and that's got a voice diaphragm on it. I've done a video before on displaying masks. You can get styrofoam heads, which are cheaper. Then it might just be broken, I don't know. It should just clip together. PMG2 is better than both of those masks, but the regular PMG is better than the standard GP5. No, I've not played Battlefield 5. Yeah, you could also just use like stuff a load of paper, like scrawled up newspaper into them, and I think that would hold the size. I'd say put the GP5 over something that's about the size of your head, like stretch it onto there, like, I don't know, like a styrofoam head or a piece of plastic or something like that, and then just keep it like that for ages. No, not like actual anti-gas ones. I've got, like, not in terms of surplus ones, I've got protective glasses, both like chemical protective glasses and like, you know, impact resistant like DIY glasses. But I don't have any surplus kind of glasses, if that's what you mean. Well, I've actually ordered my air conditioner now, because I kept saying I was going to do it. And then I ended up ordering one because I just thought I'm going to regret not getting one, so that's being delivered tomorrow. Then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to set up in this room, because I'm not sure yet if it's going to fit to my window properly. If I can't fit it to the window properly, I'm either going to, because I've got the attic hatch in my bedroom, I'm either going to see if I can get the exhaust going out the attic hatch somehow, because if that works, then obviously hot air rises, so that would work anyway, because the hot air's not going to come back down. And if that doesn't work, what I'll do is cut a hole in my door and put the vent through my door. So I'll figure out a way of doing it. It's just how I'm going to do it, I don't know. I'm just going to see if I can sit up a bit more straight, because it's doing that annoying thing where I'm slowly sliding out the bottom of the frame. No, you can't really. Most Soviet masks with voice diaphragms have them slightly sort of tilted to one side. That's just how they've been stored for ages. Yeah, loads of hoses for the GP5 on eBay, or other Soviet masks. Alright, thank you, Mike. I think I'll be alright though, because I'm just going to see, like, it says the kit, you know, includes a load of stuff, and I saw on Amazon you can buy like aircon extension kits fairly cheaply. So when it comes tomorrow, I'm going to obviously plug the thing in, have a look at the kit, because I've got, with the window there, there's two windows. There's a sideways opening window and like a vertically opening window, so I'll see if it fits either of those. And then if it doesn't, I'll figure out doing it onto the door. But I was looking at pictures and videos people have done online. It seems you can pretty much install them anywhere if you're creative enough. I've got, like, you know, drills and stuff like that, so I could easily cut a hole in the door for the vent kind of kit. That got asked last stream. I'd say probably the Makarov, just because it's a bit more modern. No. Well, at least not at the moment. Whether or not they change it, that remains to be seen. T72. I think I've said before with the activated guns, I've not bought any in ages just because the laws have changed on them, which means that they cost way more now. And I've kind of got better things to spend my money on. I have an M1 carbine, but that's not behind me. There's a Lee Enfield behind me and an L1A1 SLR. I've not used it again much recently. But that's just more because I've not had any reason to. So the problem is when I do night vision videos, a lot of people don't watch them. So I could go out and use it, but if I upload the video, I don't think many people would watch it. They've not revealed yet what the new mask will be, but they are getting rid of the GSR supposedly. I got, was it Resident Evil 2 Remake recently, but other than that there's nothing else coming out that I've got any interest in. No, if I did I'd already told him. Most nations made a horse gas mask, and some made dogs gas masks. Yeah, I've got Red Alert on PC as well. You can also get a thing, I think it's called OpenRA, which is really good. Which is the first few Command and Conquers and Dune 2000, which you can all play for free, and it's like modernised engine and everything. It's like a fan sort of project. S10 obviously. I've got a parody video coming out tomorrow. I filmed it recently, but I've rescheduled my video so it goes live tomorrow. So, what I think is, I think some of you might like it. As in M1 Carbine or M1 Garand, but probably both of those over the SKS. Probably the Stalker series, but that's not so much post-apocalyptic as it's just set in the exclusion zone in an alternative history. Fallout New Vegas I really like, actually. So I'd say Fallout New Vegas for a proper post-apoc game. Right, I'm going to get some water because my throat's quite dry, but I think that's probably just like a bit of an acid reflux type thing. No, but if people don't like me, they're free not to like me. Nobody's forcing them to like me. Well, obviously, I'd love a remaster of Stalker. Metro series is really not better than Stalker. I'm assuming you're trolling saying that on here. I mean, you're free to believe that if you want to, but that's objectively not true. There's technically meant to be a new Stalker coming out. I thought it was 2021 they said, but it's not got a lot of the original Stalker developers making it, so I don't actually know if it'd be any good. Right, I'm not going to get into this Metro argument every stream. As I said, I prefer Stalker to Metro. All I'm going to say is, obviously for me, an open world game with lots of RPG mechanics is easily superior to a very linear corridor shooter with lots of scripted moments. No, I've got no interest in motorcycles. I've got a car. Yeah, exactly. If you got any of the Stalker games for £2, that's a great price. Yeah, I think, although I've got them all on disc, I think I ended up getting them in a Steam sale at one point when they were bundled together for like £7 or £15 or something. It wasn't very much for all 3 games. No, barely played the Splinter Cell games. It was a pretty good drive, Mike. My fuel economy was about 57 miles per gallon going down and about 52 or 53 mpg coming back. The only reason it was better going down was there was quite a lot of times going down where the traffic was still flowing, but not, you know, at the full speed limit. Whereas coming back, because the roads were a bit clear, I had the car in 70 for a lot more of it, which meant obviously that the engine was having to do a bit more work. But yeah, drive down and back was pretty good. No close calls or anything. I did figure out I had to change a setting on my sat-nav because it was set to eco mode, which means it kept taking me off the motorway to put me on little country roads, only to put me back on the motorway sort of 5 miles later. So when I set that to fast, it was much better, because obviously when you're on the motorway it's actually a lot more economical just to keep the car in maybe 60 or something, rather than going off and on it constantly on slip roads and everything. Yep, I've obviously got a GP5 gas mask. I've got several GP5s, to be honest. Well, I've not played Metro Exodus yet, so I can't comment. I've played that State of Decay one where you can drive around with cars and there's zombies in it, but it was a bit too easy and I got bored of it pretty quickly. Because you can just sort of button mash, can't you, and the zombies aren't very smart. I've got a black GP5M, but my regular GP5, both my regular GP5s are just like the grey-white rubber ones. There was, I think, the M69 or M71 it was called, which was another mask, which is very similar, and they also had a variant of the PMG. Now, that's totally impossible to say. I've got probably over 100 masks. No, I don't like the GP7 or PMK. Some people do like them, but personally I don't like them. Just because, as I said, quality control issues on them. Not as far as I'm aware. Maybe there are some sellers on eBay that have replacement parts, but for the most part you generally will find it much easier to buy a brand new mask. Because with some nations they kind of made repair kits for masks that had lots of spare parts in, but for the most part, because they produced so many masks, there wasn't any point in them doing, you know, like mass production of replacement parts, because they just, you know, would replace the entire mask if a little bit broke on it. Yeah, the PMK looks cool, I just don't think it's a very good mask. Probably M4 over that. And again, I've slipped out of the frame of the camera, annoyingly. The webcam. I don't know how that keeps happening. I'm assuming I'm sort of slouching ever so slightly as the stream goes on and on until I'm off frame again. For anybody asking, do I have X mask or whatever, just search my channel. The answer is yes to most of those questions. I got on eBay years ago, and I normally size 2 or 3 on Soviet masks. Also, you're calling it the incorrect name. Take the C out of it. The C designates it as an East German name for it. The actual name for it is just Schmuss or Shums, or however it's pronounced, SHMS. As I've said before, and it says in the stream title, there's a read description FAQ thing, so I don't have much patience for people who keep asking FAQ questions, just to warn you. It's got an East German carrier, but I still would just call it the SHMS, because, you know, it's kind of like if you had something you couldn't even verify if it's not the East German one or whatever. I'm sure you can get my point anyway. Pretty hard. I mean, if it's iron sights, it's just about manageable, but you're not going to manage with a scope with a GP5. I don't know what you mean by the tube thing on the bottom of a GP5. Do you mean a hose? You can just screw them in and take them off. They're not permanently attached to the GP5. Totally depends on the individual mask or filters. Depends what standard they're made to. There's lots of crap industrial stuff and civilian stuff. There's lots of crap military stuff. The US did a couple of optical masks in World War II. They're pretty similar. Britain has a very rare mask called the S8, which is somewhere between the S6 and S10 in appearance, but that's got optical lenses. It totally depends on the mask and the filter placement and the sort of scope or iron sights you're using, but generally you have to canter the rifle quite a bit in your head to actually get the sights and the mask lined up on a lot of them. If you mean using it for airsoft, no, that's not a good idea. Unless you reinforce the lenses first. Well, maybe watch all my videos where I've suggested masks. I'm going to check if slow mode's on. If slow mode is on, right, I'm going to turn slow mode off. If anybody spams the chat, I'll just block them. But FM12 because it's a newer mask and a better mask. Alright, cheers Sergey. Or Sergey if I'm pronouncing that right. Well, they're cutting themselves out of a big bit of the market, taking it off Steam. But that was the publisher's decision, not the developer's decision. Don't know, I haven't seen him whenever I've been on a walk up there again, T72. Because there was quite a few times where I saw him a lot of times in short succession, you know, sitting around and wandering around aimlessly. But I've not seen him for ages. I have no idea what you're on about, Adam. Yeah, if you've got the air tank with it, Iron Man Spartan, which you'd have to have for that, yes, because you're still getting air from a tank, which means obviously if the air around you is contaminated, you're still breathing in safe air. Well, I'd say probably when I was in my early teenage years is where I started getting a lot more interested in like military history and stuff like that. I haven't been swimming in ages. I can swim and it's alright, but yeah, I haven't been swimming in ages actually. But there's not too many good pools near me, actually, saying that. There's one outdoor pool that's fairly close to me, and that gets absolutely jam-packed in the summer. And then there's a couple of indoor pools, but they're not, you know, particularly good ones. They're a bit grotty. Probably the Cold War T72. Yeah, I'm British. Or English, to be more specific. I generally don't do reaction videos or anything like that because I don't like to get involved in all the drama kind of stuff. Well, I'm not really Irish, am I? So it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually a Russian spy, according to GCHQ. I'm probably the mastermind behind all the Novichok stuff. But that's saying that I shouldn't make jokes like that, should I? Because the context of things, as we found out from Count Dankula, doesn't matter. We're getting a bit political now. So you know, if I made a joke, they'd say it's not a joke, and they'd gulag me. If you're only using it for airsoft, yeah, Mark 6 helmet would be fine for that. It's fairly light, and obviously it's going to protect your head from airsoft pellets going at a few hundred feet per second. I've got a lot of different stuff in my collection. I generally just collect stuff I find for sensible prices and then get it. As I've said before, it goes for gas masks and everything else, like military related. If I see something for a sensible price and I think it looks cool, I'll get it. If I see something that's expensive, I won't bother. The FN FAL, just simply because, obviously, 308 is a bit more common than 303 British now. Both the cartridges are similar power. Accuracy of both of them is fairly similar if you have a well-tuned rifle. But obviously having a semi-automatic gun with a 20 round magazine is a bit better than having a bolt action, really. That's cool, but at least you got some stuff, I guess. No, I don't sell my masks. Not as far as I'm aware, really, sadly, for the Soviet masks in terms of optics. I'm not, as I've said before, I'm not like a serious prepper or anything, so I personally think if something gets so bad, you know, where nukes are being exchanged or whatever in a big scale, I wouldn't worry about it, because I think you get wiped out, you know, initially in it. Favourite rifle's that one. I'm assuming it's just broken, or the oral nasal cup's been pulled out. Yeah, it's like 1045 carbon or 1075 carbon, I can't remember which, but it's actually a proper, you know, made one. I've got 2 Vostocks, and I've got an old German World War II army watch. I've already said to somebody earlier in the stream, don't start chatting about Venezuela and politics, to be honest. No point, it's pretty safe there now. I mean, maybe you'd want a half-face respirator on, just in case you kick up any dust that's radioactive, but for the most part it's pretty safe in most of it. Yeah, that's alright, as just said, like I said, it's one of those things where lots of people seem to keep wanting to bring it up, so I don't really want to start chatting about geopolitics in these streams, just because all it does is cause people to start arguing. Yeah, I heard there was some stuff like to do with paedophilia, but I think there's like a Sargon of Akkad video, isn't there, Mike, where he says it is a bit dodgy, because people could start targeting channels with certain types of comments to get like those comments on the channel shut down. No, I don't have any royal flags. The only thing I've got is an English flag, and I did have the flag of the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia that was hanging up on that wall, but that's fallen down. I've just not been bothered to replace it yet. It's literally right there if I wanted to, but I'd need to like move my table and put a chair there to hang it back up, so I've not bothered. I've got a few canteens, yeah. I've never got around to making a video specifically on canteens yet. But if you search canteen in my channel, you can find the videos I've done on the ones I've got that I've actually, you know, covered. I've got 1 amphibia and 1 Komandurski, but the Komandurski I've got like a cadet one or something it's called. It's not the standard Komandurski. I don't know, 5. Might do at some point. Depends. I'm normally stream. The more people watch certain things I stream, the more likely I am to stream it, to be honest. Because I don't personally really see, and there we go, I'm out of the frame again. I don't personally really see the point in streaming things that a lot of people don't bother watching. It depends what environment you're using it in. If it was the woodland, German Flecktarn. If it was being used in the desert, then US chocolate chip. However, if I had to use a camo in the desert, I'd rather have like the German Arid Flecktarn, whatever it's called, Arid Tarn. My favourite camo at the moment's probably Soviet SS Leto camo. Now, if it's just based on coolness, Flecktown by a mile. eBay. If you want to get a good S10 canteen, buy the ones called Osprey canteens, like the actual surplus ones. Don't bother getting the like modern one-to-one reproduction Osprey canteens, because they don't actually fit the proper lids and they leak. Cool. The straps are pretty simple. They're the ones like all the French masks have, where you have to kind of pull them down and then they sort of are held in by kind of a hook. Yeah, British version of it, the SLR. Don't think there's a cut on my eyebrow. Which one are you looking at? Shouldn't be. Hang on, let me have a look on the... No, I can't see any cuts on there. Nope. It's always possible that I've got a bit of eczema or something that's making it look a bit inflamed. It's also, as I've said, because I've edited the saturation and brightness and everything on the webcam, so it looks brighter in the room and less blue. I think some bits of my skin look almost red or pink, but I don't think they're actually that colour. I think it's just the colours of the webcam not being brilliant. I've got an RPK. They're deactivated. No, Rich, when it's up you'll see it, but at the moment it's been a bit of a pain in the arse to try and organise that. Hopefully I'll have the spear finally ready by tomorrow, I think, because I'll be in most of tomorrow waiting for a parcel. So I think I'll be able to go out just outside the back door, use the wood plane, get the spear shaft ready, and then it will just be whenever I've got a chance to do it with a friend. But I did yell at him today to actually get around to buying his Bokken. Generally, deactivated weapons are far more expensive than airsoft ones in the UK, but you can't buy airsoft ones without what's called a UCARA. So there's lots of hoops to jump through if you actually want to get UCARA. Also, for the person asking about canteens earlier, there's my Osprey canteen. I filled that up today when I took it out because it's just over a litre capacity. That already got asked and I said the M1, either the carbine or the Garand. Definitely the Garand over an SKS. Doesn't look ridiculous at all. Looks like a completely practical helmet to me. Ah, sounds good, Mike. Depends how you mean surplus as an investment. Tell you what, if I put my chair slightly further back, I think I'll be in frame a bit more. Yeah, there we go, that's better. It's going to be harder for me to slip out of frame now. Yeah, that's down, Richard, to the, what they called the, what was it, Violent Crime Reduction Act, VCRA. That's where all those stupid laws came in. No, I did a video specifically on that, but I'd say the SHMS. Yeah, Riley just guessed it at the same time. Right, I'm going to see if there's anything not too political to talk about on the news that might be relevant to, UK beats winter temperature record again. The UK has broken the record for its warmest winter day for the second consecutive day of a temperature of 21.2 centigrades in Kew Gardens, London. Oh, is the stream glitching for anybody else, or is it just glitching for me? I'm assuming it's glitching for everybody, is it? Right, can you still hear me? Right, I'm going to try unplugging the webcam and plugging it back in, because it's done that before and I think it's something going wrong with the webcam. So let's take the webcam out, put the webcam back in and see if that fixes it. Right, and now it's just deleted the webcam as far as I can tell from my thing, so bear with me. Right, okay, now I'm going to have to work out how to get it to go back to the regular size again. Yeah, I know, I can see that. Right. Okay, let's get rid of this one to start with. Now it should just be me on a black background. Now what I'll do is get this one to be full size again, but I have to remember how to do this. That's going to stretch it, isn't it, if I do that? How did I do it before? I can't remember. That will do for now, at least, because at least I'm on the screen again and it's full size, even if it's a bit stretched. Yeah, I'm using OBS. Yep. Well, remember, Richard, it doesn't matter if you put joke at the end, they'll still arrest you now for saying stuff like that, like they did with Count Dankula. Well, it's fitness now, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, what I was doing is right-click, transform, and then doing it that way. Right, at least it seems to have remembered like how I had the colour scheme set up, because I was a bit worried then it was going to go back to default and then be like really dark and blue again. Because when I'm doing a stream I can't really be bothered to try and take the softbox light and just put it right next to me here. I did it for one stream and it looked really good, but it's just a bit clunky to do in here. I'd rather have the softbox set up for every time I want to do a video ready. Personally, I wouldn't really pay more than £40 to £50 for an S10. It depends obviously on the condition and if it comes with all the accessories. Yeah, I've heard of K. I know what K is. I don't really go on there though, as I've probably said on quite a few streams before. I've been to Norway before. I'm not saying it's cold at the moment. If you were listening to what I said earlier, you'd have heard them say it's one of the warmest days on record for winter, not coldest days. No, it didn't show up, Richard. That's a shame if it broke. Like I said, the problem is I prefer the cold to the hot weather, but at least I've got that aircon coming tomorrow. Cool, which one are you getting? Like the same one as I've got? The US Cavalry Sabre type one? Because I've got that one there, but it's out of frame, isn't it, at the moment? I have no idea. I don't do much of airsoft, as I've said before, so I'm probably not the best person to ask for that. You'd want to ask a channel that specialises in airsoft stuff. What else is on the news while we wait for more people to come up with questions? Right, nothing on the BBC as usual. Because Avon make good masks. That's basically the only reason. I mean, they're a British company as well, which is obviously a bit of a plus for sort of a nationalistic sort of, you know, jingo-tastic thing, but just generally because they make some of the best masks on the market, and they're now currently, I think, like one of the world's biggest gas mask manufacturers and, you know, like suppliers. How exactly do you mean by that, Sam? I'm trying to sort of think how exactly that would be phrased as a video. As in, like, what tanks would they use, what, you know, rifles or stuff like that. Read books, I'd say, or reliable sites online. Just obviously be careful with things like Wikipedia, because anybody can edit it, and often there's not proper citations for sources on there. Alright, cool. Yeah, I know the one you mean. I could probably do a video like that, but I'd have to have a good think about it. I have quite a lot of World War II helmets and gas masks and things, so I'd assume some of my World War II militaria. I might even have something older than that, but I can't think off the top of my head. Which World War I replica? You on about the PH gas hood or what? Don't quite get what you're getting at, little squirrel. The gas hood replica was only like £20 to £30. Yeah, of course I'm ready for bruises. That's sort of the point in doing it. Contact sport. I don't have any Soviet night vision goggles, and I wouldn't buy any just because of how clunky and big they are. I've seen channels that have done videos on them, but I've got the Night Fox, which is better in every way than the old Soviet goggles. No, because all the bladed weapons and everything I have are all like modern reproductions. They're not actual like medieval ones. Alright, Mike, thanks for letting me know. I might not be up all that late tonight because I had to get up at 6 in the morning for going down to the coast today. And I didn't sleep very well last night. I've not had much sleep. I've probably had 3 hours of sleep in the last, 30 odd hours of being awake. So, yeah, I might go to bed fairly early. I don't really know yet. Well, they're all fiberglass modern bows, so they never deform. They're not wooden bows. Yeah, it's because a lot of the German stuff has kind of like the, I don't know what to say, like kind of fanboyism about it, a sort of weird appeal to it, which means lots of places just charge stupid amounts for it. Well, I mean, a lot of it's all just sporting gear and everything, but probably just one of my crossbows, I'd say, in terms of like the range on it and everything else. I mean, any of the swords or like the billhook Richard Weaponsmith made, in terms of like melee combat, they'd be brutally effective, but a crossbow's obviously got a lot more range to it. No, I've spent all my money recently on that aircon. I don't... Yeah, you did hear, didn't you, Mike? But yeah, because obviously that's like 320 odd quid for a decent aircon. Argos was... Argos had one in that was 200 odd quid. So I checked online. You can't order it for home delivery, and none of the stores in my area have it in, which makes me think it's a bit of like scam advertising, them having it on there and then nowhere actually having it, because they're saying, look, we have this at a better price than anywhere else. Oh, but we don't actually have any in stock. Yeah, I mean, it might be that if you have a very high draw weight carbon or whatever plastic bow, that eventually it does start warping, but with my fairly cheap bows I'm really not concerned about it. I've never had any of my bows, even the crossbows I've had for years, be damaged by leaving them strung. Probably the Volksmask 37, I'd say, for my favourite German mask. The M2000, their modern one, looks really cool, but I've not got it, so I can't really give an opinion on it. As I said before, a lot of the time on that, company doesn't matter. As long as it's made to the same standard, which it has to be if it's advertised as like P3 or whatever. And you know, it's at least coming from a proper company, not coming from like one of those strange Chinese ones. It really doesn't matter, just get one that's a good price and that's got a good expiry date on it. Yeah, but you can't post the links in this video because YouTube just deletes them automatically. There's no way you can get them through. Is that the one from the Terror? With like the Terror and Erebus, the Franklin expedition? I do quite like a lot of documentaries though, but I have to be in the right mood to watch them. Now, that's in the FAQ, what's my favourite or best gas mask? Right, to see if I get any more questions. If not, I'll finish off quite soon. The SHMS by far. Unless you mean non-Soviet, then that would probably be the Czech CM3, I would say probably. But the SHMS, as I've said before, you can use it well with optics and everything else. No, they'd be illegal in the UK as well because of our stupid laws. They'd be considered a stealth knife. But there's some stupid exceptions to that as well, like if you used it for cutting up meat in a kitchen and it's no longer a stealth knife. So yeah, I really don't understand a lot of our laws. You can carry a knife. I've done videos before on the legality of it in the UK. But there's lots of bits to the law on it. And it also depends on police discretion and everything else. I have a couple of Chinese gas masks. I have one Japanese gas mask. I don't think I have any Korean masks. But yeah, I've got one Japanese mask and a few Chinese masks. Alright, cool. Hope you like that mask. I've not got a PMK2, so well done. Right, let's check this T72, shall we? Where's a good one to do it with? Here we go, just a second. Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've looked at it for more than that amount of time. It totally depends with a knife and everything on the length of it, like what you're using it for and everything else, but if you're doing something really dodgy with it, then no. Somewhere between the two. Because I think our laws are too strict, and I think if we had the US style laws it would end in tears. So I think it would have to be some sort of compromise in between. Don't need a license for it. I really can't tell you a random confused parrot. I think you asked that last time. You're not going to get one unless you're willing to spend maybe over 10 grand on it, Kez. Because that is like one of the rarest masks in the world. And there's only like 2 or 3 which are in museums or private collections. Oh, you know I like the Stalker game, so I don't know why you're asking. Poland currently has one of the best armies in all of Europe, funnily enough. Maybe, although Canada's got lots of stupid things, like if a gun's got wood furniture it's considered okay, but if it's plastic it's a scary assault rifle. Like how Mini 14s are a lot more legal than other 5.56 rifles, which is just stupid. And I think it's like the SKS is legal and an AK isn't it, in a lot of bits of Canada and stuff like that, so... No, you need better legislation than that, but... The point is, I don't think it would be good if everybody could just suddenly go and buy a pistol or a rifle, you know, and then they just start shooting their neighbours with it, I imagine, so, no, the point is that I think I've said before with, like, on Weapon Collector's stream and the points we've always made before, you know, I'm trying to think of a good way to say it to sum up the stream and finish it off, is I think American gun laws are fine for the US because it's in their gun culture, but you couldn't simply take the US laws, slap them on over here and expect it to go well. It wouldn't. I have no idea if a long sword would be a kitchen knife under legislation or not. Really, you'd want a gross messer, wouldn't you? A big knife. Anyway, there we go, that's the end of the stream. Alright, see you everybody.